I feel like I was stuck in that fucking closet for 274 days. Still managed to keep my girlish figure though. I know we haven't spoken to each other in a hot minute, like close to 9 months, but I figured if Doctor Who can come back after a year of hiatus, then, well, so can I. Exactly why I haven't uploaded anything in a while, even though I have 50 odd subscribers and I love each and every last one of you, we'll get into maybe next week. We'll discuss it later date. So, Doctor Who is back on TV, and welcome to Doctor Who Exactly, which is just a fat person on the internet talking about Doctor Who. So, Chris Chibnall is still doing New Year specials as opposed to Christmas specials, and I'm not sure if that's still with Chris Chibnall thinking there's no more stories you can tell during Christmas, or if it's the BBC saying like maybe Christmas Day is not for Doctor Who anymore, which is silly. So, Spyfall is a James Bond homage, and here's a tidbit for you. I love James Bond. I once had to be talked out of buying a £200, like Great British Pound Sterling, DVD collection that included all the DVDs except Die Another Day, because this had come out just before Casino Royale had come out. I've read more James Bond books than most people have seen James Bond films, which is 7. Maybe most people have seen more than 6 James Bond films. I'm just generalising here. What I'm trying to convey is that I love James Bond, and as a James Bond homage parody, this is okay. It's like very surface level, superficially, Doctor Who does James Bond, which on the whole is not a bad idea. On a bank holiday, having a special where there's more eyes on the screen than usual, like people who are not particularly fans of the series might just tune in, then that works. That's a hook. Like Doctor Who does James Bond, you got them. You got the Poseidon Adventure, but in space. You got them. You've got Superman by Christopher Reeves with Peter Capaldi in there somewhere. Okay. These are all like very basic ideas of Doctor Who does another genre. So the idea is not bad. The episode itself I find okay. If it wasn't for the last 5 minutes, then Spyfall episode 1 would have just been really okay. Inoffensively bad. One of the things I do like is the aliens, the Kasuane, or however you pronounce that. They look like there's a bit of the world missing and there's a light shining through. Like, it reminded me of the poster of John Carpenter's The Thing, you know, with the silhouette and the bright light shining through. And the title of The Thing, which is made by cutting out the title and then shining light through it, which is brilliant for its day and age. So these aliens, they are from somewhere else. They are from another plane of existence, probably. So they want to conquer the universe. And how do you achieve this? By killing spies? Which is just, you know, to give this episode its title, I suppose. But it really doesn't achieve anything until the last 5 minutes, when it's revealed that the secret spy that the Doctor was friends with is actually the Master. Muhaha, it was me, the Master, all along. It's a bit, I'm a bit. We left Missy 2 series ago, and now they're back. And everything has been reset, because every time there's a regeneration, you get a new character, despite it still being the same character. Which isn't to say that I don't like Sacha Dhawan's interpretation of the Master, it's just that it's a bit soon to bring him back. But then again, it's been, some people have grown up and they're now watching Doctor Who because Doctor Who's one of those family shows, and there's a lot of people that started watching ever since Stephen Moffat left because they were not a big fan of Stephen Moffat's way of handling the show, which in fairness, if it's something is not your cup of tea, that's not a problem at all. The more people watching this show, the better, because, you know, stuff should be for most people, especially family shows. So, if it wasn't for the reveal that the Master was in Spyfall, I don't think we would be talking about Spyfall very much so at all. Now, the second part of the episode, like part 2, this is a lot more intriguing to me. It's like the Doctor's finally put into a situation where she's being challenged. Like, she had stuff to do, she had stuff to figure out. Finally, Jodie Whittaker had some meat to deal with, you know, like to sink her teeth into. I really did enjoy her take on the Doctor in this episode a lot more than I've done so in the past, and there's a bit less of a happy-go-lucky streak to it. Like, it was a lot of fluffy. It was fluffy? Yeah, let's go with fluffy. It was a lot less clean. There's a bit where she exposes the Master for not being a Nazi to the Nazis, which was a bit awkward. Weaponizing his skin color in, like I said, is a family show. It may send the wrong message. I mean, surely saying like, here's an imposter who's not your Nazi leader would have been enough. But yeah, right. The two guest stars in this episode as well, Lovelace, who I did know, and Khan, they're brilliant additions. They give you reasons to look up Wikipedia. It's almost as if this show is actively teaching people history again, which is brilliant. I mean, I didn't know about Noor Khan, but, you know, finding out what she did, it's respect. Like, don't let the fascists win, I suppose. And we get a lot more from Sasha's Master, who... Okay, let me put it like this. Okay, so Missy was dangerous, Missy was threatening. I mean, she killed people. But Sasha Dhawan's Master is threatening, is menacing. He's got a hair-trigger temper. You know, scene at the World Fair where he's basically randomly killing people, because that's what the tissue compressor does. By the way, I love the fact that the tissue compressor is back in the show, despite the fact it makes the deaths look so silly. It's still a very gruesome thing, because your body gets compressed to the point that your organs don't function anymore, which makes it a lot less appealing that it's a shrink ray. Ugh. So, him suddenly shouting and threatening people with death in a crowd is ooh, cool. Ooh, that's good. That's kisses. I loved this bit aspect of his Master. I love that it's like he's unstable, mentally unstable, I suppose. A lot more John Sim in The End of Time rather than John Sim at World Enough in Time and The Doctor Falls. So him chasing the Doctor down, and he's grown his stubble beard, and I'm like, yeah, the Master's back to having a beard. Like, I hope this look sticks for him. I did like what they did with the Doctor, but I didn't really like what they did with the companions, you know, Graham and the rest. Like, it felt like the 3 parts from Utopia to The Last of the Time Lords, where the Doctor's being forced off the grid, and they're doing the same thing, and it's just running around, and then these laser shoes, and then showing up the aliens, and then again the laser shoes. It bothers me, because in Doctor Who, technology like that has always been alien, or at least otherworldly, unusual, but it's not from MI6. It's not like an actual secret agent having laser shoes. That makes me go like, that's a bit daft. I did like Graham quipping, "Don't make me do the old soft shoe shuffle." That was funny, I'll freely admit that. But the best thing to come out of their interactions, aside from being on the run the entire time, is that they've now not trusting the Doctor 100%, which is understandable, and I hope it leads to more characterization, especially Jasmine. I mean, her near-death experience in part 1, I hope it gets explored a little bit more, maybe like the traveling with the Doctor loses the magic for her. Not saying that the only girl character in the series has to be, you know, afraid of death, but, you know, give us more. Give us more things to do with these people. You have a lot of people, but you don't seem to develop them as much. So to get a nice little resolution towards the end, the Doctor outsmarts the Master. Well done. Quite like that. The Master gets stuck in an inescapable situation which he'll never escape from ever again. You know, until next time we see them. And the aliens get booted off the planet, which is a shame, because what did these things do in the end, aside from being arrogant, like when you took this form to mock you, which is a great line, and then what did they do? They just zapped a couple of people and rewritten DNA. They wanted to take over the world, they almost did. They get sidelined. I mean, even Lenny Henry had more to do than the actual aliens that we're supposed to be fearing. Yeah. They'll probably come back just like Tim Shaw did, Chem Shaw, in the previous series, but aside from a cool concept and a cool look, not been that memorable. Yeah. And we get a nice little spiel by a holographic Master. Quite liked the way he was seemingly genuine. Didn't really care much for the fact that Gallifrey's gone again and off screen like that, by the Master just being very upset with them. I really hope that the end of this Timeless Child thing that got started in the Ghost Monument, the second episode of the previous series.
We see deeper though, further back, the Timeless Child.
Has a good payoff, and it probably undoes the destruction of Gallifrey, because otherwise it's hard to care about this. The Doctor doesn't care about Gallifrey that much, so why do we? We only care because it's something that the fandom has. It's not something, yeah, I mean, yeah, just really shrug. Right, it's been good to have been back, and I will be coming back, I hope. Please don't do anything that might affect the algorithm. Don't click like, don't subscribe, don't comment. Well, do comment if you want to comment about how stupid and big and fat my face looks. This has been Doctor Who Exactly, and we'll be coming back next week talking about Resort 55. Is that the one? Yeah, that's probably gonna be called Orphan 55, that's it. Starring that guy from The Inbetweeners who also does Zapped, who was also Del Boy in Rock and Chips. Anybody remember Rock and Chips? It was weird. See ya!